sequence and series. So first consider the concept of sequence in real number. So we define sequence as follows. We say a sequence is a function whose domain set is a set of real number and the range set are subset of the domain set is a set of natural number, that is from 1 to infinity, and the range set are subset of real numbers. So this is how we denote a sequence. We either write it like this, or simply we write it like this. So this is what we call sequence. So when we list number in a certain order, then those numbers are called sequence. So example of a sequence. So if I have this n runs from 1 to infinity, which will give me this, is a sequence. So you can see if n is 1, you are going to get this. If n is 2, we'll get this, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. So these numbers here, the list of these numbers are sequence. So this is the function that generated. That's why we call it a function. So the domain set is a set of natural number, while this is a set of real numbers. So that is a set. That is a sequence. Now let's consider convergence of sequence. We say that a sequence this is said to converge to L, or we say that it's said to be convergent if for every epsilon is greater than 0, there exists n, this n is greater than 0, which will depend on epsilon, such that an minus L is less than epsilon. For all n is greater than this n is a natural number. Now, if they say that a convergent sequence, for instance here, as this thing is going, you observe that this is half is greater than 1 over 5. 1 over 5 will be greater than the next one. It will be going like that. At the end of the day, it will result to a certain value, which is 0, because this is, it reduced to 1 over 5. So it will be reducing like that till it gets to the smallest one, which is 0. Then, since it can get to a certain value, which is the last point, then we say that this sequence converges. And it converges to what? It converges to 0. So that 0 will be called the limit point. So this number held. So that is what they mean by convergence, and that is what we have just written here. So from this definition here, we can have another definition of convergence of sequence. So this is the definition. We say that a sequence is said to be convergent to a real number n, to a certain value, if that limit exists as n tends to infinity, as this n tends to infinity. So that simply means that if we have this, if we have the limit of n tends to infinity, this an, if it's equal to a certain value which is finite, then we say that the sequence converges. Also, if a sequence converges to L, so we write an tends to L. So that simply means that if we write an tends to L, we mean the sequence converges to L. So this is the short form of writing converges to L. So if this sequence converges to L, so this is what we write. So here now we are dealing with limit. So that simply means that to show that a sequence converges, we only need to show that the limit exists. So we have another definition. This definition is what we call epsilon definition of convergence. So let's move to another interesting one. Divergent sequence. So if a sequence does not converge, then it's said to be divergent. So example of divergent sequence, let's say we have sequence this. So if you look at this sequence will be 1, 4, 9, 16, and so on. You observe that this sequence keeps increasing and increasing. So So it will not get to a particular place. So in that case, we say that this sequence diverges, because it does not converge. It will not get to a particular place. So let's take the following examples. We want to show that the following sequences converge, or let's say the following sequence converges. Now, to show that this sequence converges, we use the definition of sequence. You remember we said that a sequence converges when the limit exists, just like what we gave here, when the limit exists. So in that case, we only need to ascend tends to infinity. To show, we only need to find the limit of this ascend tends to infinity, and this is very easy. So this is just 0. 1 over infinity is 0. So since we have a real number here, we say that this limit exists, and the limit exists simply means that this sequence converges to O. So it converges to 0. So since the limit gives us 0, then we say that the sequence converges to 0. If you look at this sequence again, this sequence here, we want to show that the sequence converges. So we only need to find the limit as n tends to infinity only. And we know this limit. How to do that? We divide both sides by n. You divide this by n, you divide this by n, this by n, and this by n to get this. And that would give me, if I take the limit, I will have 2 plus 3 over infinity there is 0. 4 minus 1 over infinity there is 0. So this is 2 over 4, this is half. So the limit exists. So, and since the limit exists, we say that this sequence converges, and it converges to half. It converges to half. So I can write the something as this, the sequence is. I don't want to write it in word, but you can write it in word, converges to half. So that is the meaning. Another example. So we want to show that this sequence converges. So that is left as exercise. So you only need to find the limit. At the end of the day, you should get 1 as the limit. So the sequence converges to 1. So you find the limit as n tends to infinity, make use of L'Hospital rule, and you are there. Let's take another example. Show that this sequence converges to half. If you look at our example 1, we only say that show that the sequence converges. Now, the question is show that the sequence converges to half. So when we are given this type of question, what we do is we make use of epsilon definition of convergence. So we make use of this. This is how to prove it. We make use of this definition to prove it. So we start the proof by saying if for every epsilon is greater than 0, there exists n is greater than 0, such that this happens for all n is greater than n. So this is definition, epsilon definition of sequence. So what we now do is we substitute this value. This is our an minus L. This is our L. L is half. Now, let's simplify this before we put less than epsilon. Our aim is to show that n is greater than this n. We need to find the value of n. So this, if you simplify, if you find the SM and simplify, we should get this. So I will put our less than epsilon. So from that place, I can remove the absolute value. Yeah, so I'm still free to remove the absolute value. So this will become 8n minus 2 is less than epsilon, which is same thing as 8n minus 2 over 7 will be greater than 1 over epsilon. You know, if we interchange this is epsilon over 1. But we interchange this numerator and denominator, and this one to the sign will change. So or you find the reciprocal of both sides. So 8 minus 2 will be greater than 7 over epsilon, which simply means that 8 is greater than 7 over epsilon plus 2. Finally, you are going to have that n is greater than 7 over 8 epsilon plus 1 over 4. When you divide both sides by 8, so we are going to get this. So you will now observe that this is the same thing, and n is greater than n. Suppose at the end of the day, when we make n the formula, we did not get greater than sign, then the sequence does not converge to that value. So in this case, we cannot say that we have found n greater than 0, because our aim is to find this n. So what is our n? N is equal to 7 over 8 epsilon plus 1 over 4. So that's our epsilon. So in that case, since we have found n such that this small n is greater than this capital letter N, then we have shown that this converges to half. So another example, show that this sequence converges to 2. So solution or proof of it. So we start with this. That is, if for every epsilon is greater than 0, there exists n greater than 0 such that this happens for every day. Now, what's our n there? We have an is 2n plus 1 over n plus 1 minus L. So this is our L. Our L is 2, is less than epsilon. So if you simplify further, this will give me minus 1 over n plus 1. But if you look at this now, we have negative. But because it is inside absolute value, which this can still be 1 over n plus 1. And I can remove the absolute value now. This is 1 over this is less than epsilon. In fact, it is, we can even say from here that for inequality, we know that 1 over n is this. 1 over n plus 1 is less than 1 over n. The reason is this. If you have 1 over 2 plus 1, if you remove any of this, it is less than, let's say, 1 over 2. If I remove this one, and it will be less than, let's say, 1 over 1, because this one will still be less than any one we remove here. So if you have another one, let's say 2 over 4 plus 5, it will always be less than, you can verify the value, 1 over 3 will be less than 1 over 2. If you look at this, anyone will remove there. So if I decide to remove this 5, 2 will be it will be less than whatever I removed there. 2 over the numerator over what? If I have removed this over the remaining one. And it will always be less than 2 over 5 as well. So that simply means that 2 over 9 will be less than 2 over 4. 2 over 9 will always be less than 2 over 5 as well. So that is what this thing is saying here. So whatever I remove here, it will be less than. That is when we are giving plus. So this simply means that, let me say, but this simply means that this one is, I can write it as 1 over n because it's less than, this is less than epsilon. Now, if I bring this epsilon up, this will be greater than 1 over epsilon. So in that case, we can write it as n is equal to 1 over epsilon, because we see that n is greater than n, and we can find n is greater than 1 over epsilon. Definitely our n is equal to 1 over epsilon. So we can now write that we have found n equal to 1 over epsilon such that n is greater than this, small n is greater than this capital N, and that completes the proof. Let's take another example. Prove that limit of n tends to infinity this is equal to 1 over 3. You observe that this simply means convergence. Whenever we have this type of limit like this, you know that they are talking about convergence. So that means that if you want to prove this limit, it's equivalent to saying that prove that this sequence converges to 1 over 3. It's equivalent because limit tends to infinity sequences simply means convergence. So indirectly, what they ask us to show there is that we should show that this sequence converges to 1 over 3. And we start as usual. We start with this. Now, what's our an there? An is 2n minus 3 over 6n plus 1 minus n. Our l is 1 over 3. So it's less than epsilon. But before I put my less than epsilon, let me simplify this further. And when I simplify, I will get this. Then I cannot put my less than epsilon there. But because of this absolute value, so absolute value there, I can remove the minus. So which is this? I can remove the absolute value as well now, which because they will be the same thing. 6n plus 1 is less than epsilon. Now, if you transfer 10 over 3 to the other side, so we should have 3 epsilon over 10. We should have this. Now, recall what I said the other time. This is less than 1 over 6n. But this thing that I'm showing here is not, it does not hold for minus. That is, if you have 6n minus 1, it is not less than 1 over 6n. So we should take note of that. So it's only hold for plus. So that simply means that this thing can be written as 1 over 6n is less than 3 epsilon over 10. And if you take this to the other side, okay, 2 cancel here, 3, 2 here, 5. So this means 1 over n is less than 9 epsilon over 5. So if you take this up, we are going to have greater than 5 over 9 epsilon. So assume adding b we get less than sign, then the limit is not 1 over 3. So we cannot say that we have found n is equal to this is our n, such that n is greater than capital letter N. Then we say that hence the limit is 1 over 3. So, and that completes the proof. So let's consider the following theorem. So the theorem, let's say theorem 1. Every convergent sequence has a unique limit point. What that simply means is that if a sequence converges to any number, even there are many, those numbers must be the same thing. So that is the meaning of this. So we cannot write it like this. Suppose sequences converges to L1 and L2. We want to show that L1 is equal to L2. Because that is what the theorem is saying. That every convergent sequence has a unique limit point. That is, even if you have L3 up to Ln, then they must always be the same thing. So that is what we are. Now we are assuming that this sequence converges to this and converges to this. Now, suppose an converges to L1 and an converges to L2. Then by definition, if for every epsilon is greater than 0, there exists n1 and n2 because we have these two limits. Okay, this is an tends to L2. Now, such that our definition, we remember this is an minus L1 is less than epsilon. So we see epsilon over 2, we want to divide it into 2. And an minus L2 will be less than epsilon over 2. So this one is for all n is greater than n1 and for all n is greater than n2. Now, we know by triangular inequality, this L1 minus L2 can be written as this: L1 minus an plus an minus L2. You can see what you wrote here is still the same thing here. This, by triangular inequality, we know that by triangular inequality, if you can still remember, which is an plus b, a plus b is less than or equal to a plus b. So let's apply it there. Therefore, L1 minus L2 will be less than or equal to, everything here is representing my a and everything here is representing my b. This will be less than L1 minus an plus an minus L2. Now you observe that L1 minus an, because it is inside absolute value, is same thing as an minus L1, which is epsilon over 2. Is strictly less than. So this is strictly less than epsilon over 2. And this one too, it will be strictly less than epsilon over 2, because of what we have here. This is epsilon over 2. From this place, we can have that L1 minus L2 is equal to, is strictly less than epsilon. Now, we can write this. Since epsilon is arbitrarily small, we have said that if every small number epsilon, this is a very small number, and this one is still less than epsilon, and this can never be, the absolute value can never be negative, and absolute value can never be negative. So we can conclude that this will be equal to 0. And if this is equal to 0, which means L1 and L2 is equal to 0, that simply means that L1 is equal to L2. So we have shown that L1 is equal to L2. So that simply means that every convergence sequence has a unique limit point. So we'll meet in the next class for the continuation of the sequence.